do my first show with the Stones. We walk in and it's all, they carry their own dressing room and all this shit, right? I'm like, ugh. And he walks in, he's like, sit down, and I was like, no, sir. I said, no, thank you, or whatever. He goes, no, sit down. I'm like, all right, shut up, fat ass, and sit down. Okay, copy that. I got it.
Yeah.
And so I sat down, and he approached Dave first, and he said, hey, Dave, I looked at a YouTube thing, and it sounds a little wonky. And so Dave has his computer with him. And he goes, well, what one are you looking at? And Mick says, well, I'm looking at this one. Right. So, okay. Dave goes, let me pull you up another one. And I'm standing there. I'm scared to death.
But Dave's been with them for years.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know any of this.
Right.
I'm,
right.
Dave, you and Dave actually helped get me into that seat. So I don't want to let you guys down. I don't want to let anybody down. And I'm getting called to the pitcher's mound on the first fucking throw.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he goes in there, and Dave does 6 different views on YouTube.
And they all sound different.
They do. But you know what he said? It's so brilliant. He goes, Mick, do you know what all those have in common?
You can understand the vocals.
Damn right.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Yep.
Because I go to a show and can't understand what they're saying. I hate it.
Yep. And Dave was like, Mick, no matter where they were sitting, they understood every single word that you said. And he's like, that's right, that's right. And then he looked at me, and he in such a kind way, and he said, it sounded awful.
Really?
It was fucking awful. I said, okay. He goes, I got no notes. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And you know what Dave Natal said? It's not his fault. You hold the microphone, stupid. And I was like, what the fuck did you just say? What are you kidding me? And he's like, no, you got all these wedges and you cup the mic like this.
Oh,
right?
It's going to create havoc.
Yeah, he does the monkey paw thing, right?
Right.
So, and then he's like, well, what am I supposed to do about it, Dave? This is the way I sing. And I don't want something stupid on the microphone. And Dave goes, okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll put some black electrical tape right before where you got to stop, and it'll just give you do what you want to, but maybe it'll help out.
But stop once you get there.
Yeah. And so I walked out of there, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say to Mick Jagger?
Oh, my God.
Oh. And so anyway, it took me probably 2 or 3 weeks to figure him out.
Yeah.
Because it was such a weird thing. Like with Martina, she's so musical. You just get enveloped with it.
Yes.
Right? And with the Stones, it's more like getting enveloped with a 2x4. It's straight up rock and roll, and it's great.
Oh, yeah.
There's no click track. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to decipher, okay, it sounds awful and I have no notes. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Right?
That means we need something that you can sing to for pitch, either a guitar, preferably something with frets,
Yeah,
or
right.
a piano,
Yeah.
a keyboard. You need the clarity of hearing yourself to where you feel, where it inspires you better.
Yep.
What did he use for pitch?
Depends.
Yeah.
But the crappy part of the thing is he tells me, he goes, I don't want to hear Keith Richards' guitar. I've been hearing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, on Gimme Shelter, that's the lead-in for you to sing, and you've missed it the past 3 nights, and I'm getting blamed for it, and I get it.
Yeah.
So we were doing Chicago, and I was really getting discouraged, and I thought, man, I'm getting sent home. This is it, you
man.
know. And Dave just keeps telling me, don't worry about it, it's fine. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. So
We go through this every time. You know?
So we had like 3 or 4 days off, and I was like, man, I got to go figure this out. So I went to my cousin Vince, Dell's brother, owns an apple orchard, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I just downloaded the set list,
Yeah.
and I sat out in the middle of an apple orchard. I screamed at God, and I was like, what am I doing? And then I listened, and I thought, okay. And I wrote down pitch for each one of the songs, parts that I knew they were struggling in or whatever else.
Yeah.
And then we came back for sound check. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Mick's always like, turn my vocal up till it bleeds. But then you have 125 wedges or 84 wedges, whatever it is. So I just realized that I had to over-exaggerate every single thing. And it got to the point where it was every syllable. Hello, you doing all right? Duck it. And not a little bit, like 20, neg 20
dB. Yeah.
You had to learn every little part of it. And then even to the point where if Keith had a lead in, so the great part is they were the Stones. And, honestly, on Martina, we didn't EQ a lot of channels, John.
Right.
We didn't have to. We worked at the source.
Right. Right.
And it was very much that way with them. So Keith Richards' guitar with a 57 sounded like Keith Richards' guitar with a 57. What do you do with that? There's nothing to do.
Turn up the fader.
Yes, that's right.
You know.
So what I figured out was if there was a lead in for Keith Richards that Mick needed, I would pan it to the right, which is where Ronnie would stand, and I had a preset EQ to make it brighter.
Yeah.
And to make it sound like Ronnie Wood's guitar. And so when he would come in there, I would throw the fader, engage the EQ, and pan it to that side to make Mick think, that's all right because it's not Keith.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
Ronnie.
when he'd get back out, you just fade it back out, pop the EQ, and go back to mixing your show.
Right.
It was really a lot of digging it. And basically what happened was I was like, fuck you. I'm not going down without a fight.
Right.
You're not going to be. I've been put in the seat.
I'm rising to the occasion.
That's right.
That's right.
And if I'm going out, I'm going to go down absolutely swinging.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, I was kind of exhausted because this was a make it or break it moment.
Well, it's an emotionally draining gig in a way if you let it, you know.
And Stephen Carter, best human on the planet.
Yes.
He went to get Mick's ears and he said, hey, tell Bull whatever he's doing, it's better. And I was like, okay. So now at least I know,
Great.
I'm on the right path. And then we kind of, and then we tweaked it from there.
Yeah.
But it was, man, those first 3 weeks, McBride worked. It was rough, dude.
Yeah.
Biggest gig I've ever had on the planet.